What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? Um, I am excited for today's interview. I have Mama Church with me, as we so affectionately nicknamed her on the show. Janine Church, thanks for coming on today. How are you?
Hey, I am well. I am well. Yes, Mama Church. I got that name quite honestly because I do have such a mother's heart. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so great on the show because you were just like tending to everyone's needs. Like as Ray had just destroyed them, here you came along, like picking them back up and loving on them and telling them, they can do it. They're okay. It was
Yes.
great meeting
Yes.
you on the
Yes.
show.
Yes. Wiping boo boos. They may have been emotional boo boos. Most
Yeah,
often they were emotional boo boos, but that's what I do.
yeah, yeah. So how have things been for you? I mean, things since the show for you have been pretty traumatic. Like you've had a bunch of crazy stuff happening. I mean, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. I'm counting my blessings because, as you know, since the show, my son was on Play to Win one, and Zach. And honestly, I didn't know what I was getting into. He really pulled one on me there. But I said, probably it was a good thing because I don't know if I would have done it otherwise.
Right.
Um, but he did have a motorcycle accident May the 8th, and it was pretty bad. He lost his leg, but thank God he didn't lose his life
Yeah.
because it was really bad. He was not wearing a helmet. He had just gotten the motorcycle and was all excited. But let me tell you, I was not in favor of that decision that he made.
I would hope not.
Yeah. So, but thank God, through several surgeries, several hospital events, but the whole family, you're talking about a bunch of kids. He's got a bunch of kids. So he and his wife, moved in with us and thank God we have a big house, and him and his family was able to stay in a section of it and give them as much privacy as we could, and still live under one roof. Um, but he just got back home, and I'm a little bit concerned about that decision as well because he's just now learning to walk with a prosthetic device, so he's not proficient. There's still some things about the leg that we're trying to work through. But anyway, we're counting our blessings. We are. And
Yeah.
you know what? This is life. God throws, things at us sometimes, and we just have to be, prepared.
Oh, that's true. Now, I didn't get to, I mean, outside of just watching you mother everybody on the show, I never really got to get a lot of your background as far as professionally. I know that you have, I think it was three children, right? Three children?
I had three boys, biologically three boys,
Yeah. And then
and
you
then
have extras, you have bonus kids.
I have bonus. Yes, yes, I have bonus. They definitely are. So altogether we have seven boys and two girls.
Woo!
Yeah, yeah. And so it's been an experience.
Now, what are the ages of nine children?
Nine children. Well, the youngest one just turned 7 years old, and we're at Disney World right now. Disney. So we love to travel. We love to travel.
Come on.
So, but my husband and my mother are at the theme park right now. And so I escaped for a few minutes, which was the best part of the day because it was hot.
You always look at the positive and stuff.
Yes,
Well, tell
yes.
me, I think I heard you mention on the show that you were into counseling or you had done some social work. Explain that a little bit more, because I wasn't really too clear in just how fast everything happened. I think I missed some of your story.
Yeah. Well, it is. I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years. So that's
Oh,
nursing. But since since the show, there's something that I had always wanted to do, but I was really pushed to do it after the show. I don't know if I would have. You know how you have this list of things that you want to do, but you always think there's plenty enough time, and you'll get to it, and then there's something that always comes along. Well, the thing that I've had, because I have had sons in active addiction, um, I have started a nonprofit. And thanks to Ray Higdon really for pushing me to do that. But it's Casualties of Addiction is my nonprofit. And it's just, I'm a casualty of addiction because of my son's addiction. And then I have grandchildren that are casualties of addiction. They're everywhere. We are casual. There's so many of us who are casualties of addiction. And it doesn't necessarily mean the addict themselves, but it is very well their family members.
right.
But I would not, it would have been just a thing that I wanted to do, and I felt like there was plenty enough time. But Ray really pushes you. He really likes getting your face and says, we'll do it. Quit talking about it,
Well,
like
I
just
found
do it.
Ray to be far more less in my face than Jessica.
you know she is a terrifier. I mean, she is. There was a side of her that, my first interview was pretty hot.
Yeah.
Um, but after that, she was really, I would say she connected to my mother's heart.
Yeah.
We really connected to my mother's heart. So, but yeah, it was, I learned some things, some emotional things that I had not dealt with. And so, it was hard. It was hard. It's not just physical. I went into there thinking, you know, my Zach had prepared me. Mother, you're going to win this. I know you're going to win. This is how you're going to do it. And we were strategizing, you know, and I think everybody was sort of that way when they went into it. It's like we have these faces on, the personas that we want other people to see, and then over time, our mask, our faces just sort of come off.
Yeah.
And it got raw and real.
It did on multiple days. So, registered nurse, lots of trauma and tragedy in your life. And I mean, I just remember some of your story as we were in the show. I remember about the kids struggling with addiction, and you being involved in all that, and being a nurse and being professional and everything that was going on. Why network marketing? What was it that caused you to begin to look for, because nurses make great money, depending on kind of the hospital, you're looking at 3 or 4 days off a week. Like, why? Why would you do that?
Listen, I think that the first network marketing business that I went into, and I've only been in two, so that's not saying a whole lot, but I didn't know what I was doing. I did not know what network marketing was. I didn't know. I was so dumb. I didn't know that Mary Kay was a network marketing business. I did not know, that Tupperware was a network marketing. I did not know that.
Right.
I don't know what I thought, but I didn't think that, you know. But I if I had known what it was so many years ago, it wouldn't have taken me so long to join, because my dad was a self-employed. He was an entrepreneur. He was in a field alone that he was an importer out of Mexico, and he at one time was the largest. And he worked hard. He worked 7 days a week, sweated, physical work. It was hard. And so I was brought up, in that environment. If my dad had known at that time what network marketing was, there would have been no stopping him, because it is. I remember Ray Higdon saying this once, and I thought that is so true. There's only 2% of the population, 2% of the network marketers that are really, really successful, that reach those high dollars. And that's true. But that's also true for the general public.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get to say so often, that only 2% make it. That's true. But that's also true for the general public, the
Right.
entrepreneurs out there.
Yep.
So
That's true. So, here you are, huge family, nine kids, blended family, bonus kids, nurse, professional. And what did your husband do again? I can't remember that part.
well, he's an attorney by education. He's a licensed attorney, and he's very supportive. Thank God. He sort of likes to be behind the scenes, but he helps me a lot with some of the technical stuff, and he's a real encourager. But he is.
I do not think that you ever mentioned he was an attorney on the show. I don't remember that.
Yeah. And he is, we have some other businesses. This is not just one. That's another thing that I like about multiple streams of income.
Sure.
We have a nursing home business, a nursing home and assisted living business. And so that is his main thing.
Oh, wow.
Is looking after the other businesses.
Why are you holding out on me?
Well, listen, it's with COVID, it's been an experience.
Sure.
Some of the sickest sometimes come to some of the facilities, and I think that we've gotten a bad rap because we've had a large percentage of COVID patients in the nursing home, but that's because we do have the sickest, the most vulnerable are there, and so but it's been a challenge, and we've been rising to that challenge, and we've done a lot of things to implement to try to keep, patients as, as private and as sick free as.
Right. You dropped off. You still there? All right. You're back.
Yeah.
All right. So, this story is incredible. You've got this wealth of experience on your husband's part, and then you decide to do that crazy thing on the side, network marketing. What did your friends and family say? Here you guys are, kind of what I would consider to be almost like pillars of a community with this kind of experience, and then you go off and do one of those crazy, pyramid things.
Well, this is, for me, it's exciting. It's challenging. And I just think that it's not for everybody. I would never say that it is. But I think that for those that love the challenge, that, they get really sedentary, they get really bored with some of the jobs that are out there that, they just are not fulfilling. I think you have to have something that fulfills you, that excites you, that challenges you. And a lot of our jobs are just really monotonous. This is not one. This is not one.
Yeah, this is not one of them for sure.
No.
So let me ask you a couple questions about the show and Ray. How long had you been involved with Ray and Rank Makers? How long had that been kind of a part of your life?
Okay. Well, it's been pretty new, really, because I went for my first Rank Makers Live last year with my son, who drugged me there after his show. So being with Rank Makers has been, a pretty new experience. And quickly and then my son was pushing me to audition for the Play to Win season 2. So, and I can tell you the tools that I have learned through Rank Makers has just really been immeasurable. I could have when I was in my first company, I tried to do everything for everybody. And honestly, it was like, 16 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can really burn out like that.
Sure
But
can.
but with the things that Ray teaches and the Higdon group, it is made to be duplicatable. And that is the treasure. That is where it's at,
Yeah.
is learning to be duplicatable. And
Yep.
so I never knew that, you know.
Mm.
Um, and so many, there's a lot of psychology that goes um, into network marketing that I didn't know, that I've learned from the Higdon group, Rank Makers. So I don't even know if you can put a price on it. It's
Yeah.
just been immeasurable.
Yeah. So, what would you say the number one lesson you've learned being in Rank Makers? Aiden.
I think that the number one lesson is um, getting the tools. Learning the psychology and getting the tools, and that's what they give, is the tools. I mean, it's like anything else. I couldn't perform being a nurse without the stethoscope or a thermometer, and all the
Right.
things that provided, that I needed to do my job as a nurse. You can't do your job well unless you have the tools. And that is what Rank Makers has given me, the tools.
That's cool. Um, so, I mean, I take it that my dog. Hey, who knocked on the door?
I have several too.
So, I take it that you really didn't have any intention of applying until your son kind of strong armed you in it.
Correct. Correct. That's what I would say.
Well,
It was a strong, and so you know what? He played on those heart muscles, those mother's heartstrings. He was saying, "Mother, you can do this, Mother."
right.
And I'm like, "Okay."
That is so funny.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad he forced you onto the show.
me too.
It
Yeah, me
was good
too.
to have you on there. It was definitely a pleasure meeting you. So, day one, we're in the van. We had, that 30, 45-minute drive to the shooting site. They bring us in, they put us around the couch, and you were sitting on the couch to my right. What was going through your head?
I was anticipating how we were going to compete, I thought, at selling something. So the things that I was thinking was not at all what happened. But I had prepared myself that I could outsell anybody. How, were we going to be put on the street? Where were we going to be put?
Right.
That's what I was anticipating. And then, I think every one of us, we were trying to keep our secrets close to the breast, and so I was wondering, looking around. I mean, these are really intelligent people there, and I was very curious. I wonder, wonder what tools, what have they got close to the breast, so, and nervous, of course. I think except you, there were a few that was like as calm as a cucumber, which I didn't get. I thought,
Nobody
but
was
of course,
shooting at me or punching me in the face. So,
after hearing your story and some of the experiences that you've had, well, I could sort of see that you were calm as a cucumber. So, man, oh man, you've had some experiences.
yeah, I've had a few, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite moment on the show? What stood out to you as something you're going to treasure for the rest of your life?
I really liked being off camera and just sitting around the table and talking to people and
Wow.
learning about their lives.
Yeah, that was really a powerful part of the show.
To
There's no
me,
question.
yeah, yeah. And, they were from everywhere, all
Yeah,
over the world. And
all over the
so
world.
just soaking. And then Mary Kate's husband coming on and, listening to his story, just listening to him. He was
Yeah,
very interesting. And
yeah,
there's going to be more. I'm sure there's going to be more said
yeah,
about him.
yeah, right. So I already know what was the most nerve-wracking experience for you, and I
Yes.
want to, it was so funny because we loaded up the van that morning, and everybody began to talk about this email that had been sent out about what is your greatest fear, like what are you scared of, and I was sitting in the back of the bus. I think this was what, day 2, day 3 of filming. Um, and I'm going, man, I didn't get the email of where we were supposed to meet in the morning. I didn't get this email. I didn't get the briefings that everybody else got. And I'm going, like, I know they know that my email because they emailed me I got accepted. But I never got that email. And it was so because we're sitting in the back of the bus and everybody's talking about this fear thing. And I'm like, man, okay. And it was so funny listening to what everybody's fears were. And what I would assume were the top 3 ended up being projected and brought in. And we had to overcome fear of
Real
that.
life fears.
So without giving it away, because I want people to come and watch it, because I'm 100% sure you're going to be featured on that day. What did you have any clue what was going to happen?
No, because I really would have never dreamed that somebody would have done that to me. No, 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 no. I did not expect that.
You
No.
better hope they don't let me do the challenges.
Oh, that would be really scary, wouldn't it?
It would be. So it's funny because it came up on one of the other interviews. I don't remember which one, but man, I was in your corner for that. Like, I wanted you to grab that challenge by the horns, and like I was so excited for you. It was amazing. For you guys that are watching, part of our journey on this show was overcoming fear, overcoming the masks, like you were talking about, being able to be vulnerable and be real and be us. And it was different for me looking from the outside because none of those things are issues for me. But to watch you guys confront these issues was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't the only one to have
No.
some of those same fears.
Yeah.
And
I was
so
watching people break out in sweats and shake, and I was like,
I know.
what are y'all doing?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was trembling, terrible. I mean, palpitations in my heart. It was terrifying.
Right.
Terrifying. Yeah.
So you get through that, which kudos, because you were a champ. What do you think was the greatest lesson for you to learn on the show?
The greatest lesson. I think for me, it was knowing, when we go through difficult times and we have difficult stories, we try to isolate, and we for me so often I have really kept my fears, my anxieties, my struggles. I've tried to keep them as close to myself as I can. Not being vulnerable, but because I think we all do that. We really, I guess it's a part of us trying to protect ourselves. Really what we're trying to do is protect what other people think of us. So what I learned was that everybody that I know has some trauma, and they have obstacles to overcome. Not all the same, but obstacles
nonetheless.
And that everyone there opened my eyes to their tragedies, their challenges, their vulnerabilities. It was so that I took away with that we are not immune. Nobody's immune. Even and I have known some of this through my son's addictions, right. But it crosses all barriers.
Wait, throw a shoe at her.
And sometimes you can take those. I think the thing that was take those tragedies. You can take those vulnerabilities.
Hold on, somebody's at the door. Hey, look at that. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So I think what I learned from that experience was taking our tragedies, taking our insecurities, and trying to overcome them to be able to help others. And there are others, so many others that go through so many tragedies that we need to inspire. That's what
hold on, it's like my kids are calling. Somebody's at the door. Give me one second.
So I think just giving hope to others that they're not alone.
I'll be out in a minute.
And that there is hope.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, I think that, what I took from the show the most was the ability to use our tragedies and turn them. We can turn, from being a victim to victorious, and through our experiences, given hope to others, inspire others that they can do for themselves what we're trying to do with that. We're in this world to help each other.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you break it all down, we are here to help our fellow brothers and sisters get by through this world the best way that we can.
Yep. So that's it should probably end right there, because that's a powerful lesson for anybody. And for you to pull all that out of the show it's pretty crazy. What do you think's changed for you since being on the show?
Well, I think, like I said, the fact that don't wait, just do it. And because I've started, the nonprofit, I've started an event company now. I'm not.
Oh.
Yes. And the event company is going to be doing good deeds for good people, people that don't wear capes, heroes that don't wear capes.
Yeah. Cool.
We are going to be doing good deeds for good people around the country. And then my nonprofit, which is, the, oh my gosh, I just went blank. The casualties of addiction. So, a lot of new things that I don't know if I would have really pushed through and done them if I had not been on that show.
That's awesome. Well, listen, it is so good to see you again. You absolutely touched my heart on the show.
Oh, thank you.
As I am sure everyone else on the show would affirm as well. You were just such a treat, and to get to know your story a little bit better, and just let Zach know we're all praying for him after the accident, and, just keep being the champion you are and knocking it out of the park, and we'll see you.
Okay. Thanks, John, for having me.
And just stay on for a couple seconds.
Okay.